Okay, you know, I'll do it if you don't want to.
Oh yeah, I don't know. You do the lead.
Oh, no, all right. Welcome to Enter the Nerdom. We're here to talk to you about everything Nerdom once again, and it just so happens that with James Gunn this week, we're popping in, and I'm here with
Stan Morcini
and Watson Bradshaw
and myself, Chad Cook, and we're here just to comment on what was announced for DC's lineup that's going to be coming up in the next few years here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a bit of a little breaking news podcast because we weren't planning to record, but I think it's safe to say that with James Gunn's announcement, it was a good time to comment on what's coming down the line.
Definitely something we should get to.
Yeah.
Watson, do you want to lead us into the?
Yeah, so
what's going on?
So about a month ago, James Gunn went online and was like, "Hey guys, January 2023, I'm going to make some announcements of future projects since he took over as the head of the DCU." And January was kind of coming along, and everyone's going like, "We ain't got many days left. Are we going to hear anything?" And then so then yesterday, which was the end of January, he put something out there to say like, these are the projects that we have in our version of Phase 1 of the new DCU. Mm-hmm. That and this is not everything. Apparently, this is just a speckling of things he's got that is going to come down. But his drive, and I know this is unheard of, was he wants the TV and video games and movie projects all to be in one shared universe. Never heard of that before.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's been doing that. Shared universe stuff. Projects like Todd Phillips' Joker and Matt Reeves' The Batman will still exist in their own universe. Like, that's still going to be part of what they're calling now DC Elseworlds. So they're still going to be out there and about, but they will be their own separate thing. They're not going to have Robert Pattinson be the main DCU Batman, which is weird.
Well, I'm okay with it because I just don't want anything to mess up that world. You could, everything's messed up already with the DCU. I just want the Matt Reeves thing to be untouched. And
I agree. But they're planning on putting in a different actor to play Batman on top of.
Yeah. So the plan is that the Matt Reeves universe will continue. He is going to have his own Batman, his own stories, but there will be a main DCU Batman coming down the line by like 2026 or something like that.
That'll be interesting.
That'd be interesting to see who they get.
Yeah.
Are they planning on merging Batman and Joker together at some point, or is it just going to be?
No. From what they said, the Todd Phillips Joker world, because the Joker sequel will be coming out, I believe, next year.
Yep. Yeah.
That's its own separate thing as well.
Interesting.
So, and that doesn't bleed into the Patterson Batman either, which a lot of people make predictions that maybe Joaquin Phoenix would show up in the Patterson movies, but that doesn't look like it's happening.
I'd prefer I forget the actor they had in the deleted scene for. He was in Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes, he's fantastic.
I'm blanking, but I thought he did a great job with that deleted scene. I was like, I'd like to see him again. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw. I mean, the makeup's pretty extreme on that one. Like, he looks like a really mangled face. And I know, I'm like, how is like a Harley Quinn gonna work in that world? I don't think it will.
I would say they would avoid that.
Yeah,
I can see. Yeah, I can see that
because it's too early in the years to introduce Harley anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously this year, there's movies that were already produced before James Gunn took over. That being the Flash movie, Shazam, which is coming out in I think a month, and Aquaman and Blue Beetle, and those are all still planning to come out. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Shazam, even in the trailer, shows the Ben Affleck Batman. It shows Ezra Miller's Flash in there.
Yeah.
So that is definitely connected to the Snyderverse in some ways. And same with this upcoming Flash movie, which they say is like a universal reset. But then you have Aquaman following that. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I would assume there's probably. I don't know if they've already done reshoots, just to touch on that, but like
Well,
maybe.
the director, Jason Momoa, came out and did say that he filmed with 2 different Batman.
Oh, wow.
So because
Interesting.
the original plan was to have Michael Keaton kind of step in as
Mhm.
the main Batman.
Yeah.
And then that, since leadership has changed,
Right.
that's changed to now that Affleck came back and filmed stuff with Momoa for Aquaman 2. Now, who knows? That stuff could all be scrapped.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's rumors of Jason Momoa being Lobo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't know if this is the end of Aquaman. This could be the last Aquaman movie, and then they reboot. Who knows? It's all craziness.
I think it'll probably be the movies come out and then they're going to kind of announce as the movie teeters away, it'll be like, all right, they're out as that character. And
Yeah.
that's probably, I mean, that's my assumption what'll happen. And who knows because they didn't mention anything on Wonder Woman, like if Gal Gadot will be in the...
That's true. They
Yeah.
never
Coming
they never
back.
brought that up.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for that character after 1984
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. So, yeah.
No, and James Gunn came out because a lot of people were, of course, upset about the Henry Cavill news.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which
That-
was totally ridiculous.
And even
yeah.
James Gunn said, like, Henry Cavill was never recast. It's just he wasn't asked back, basically.
Mm.
But it's not like they asked him back and then they don't want to use it. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, because Henry Cavill was pretty assured he was in.
Right.
Well, I mean, the whole
Did-
marketing thing that they
yeah,
told
didn't
him
they
to
tell
post
him to
about.
go out and start,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
which is,
So, but we'll see what happens there. But I do have the list
Yeah,
Yes,
of
let's
all
go
the
through.
projects. And I want to know if you want to give these projects a DC woo or DC ooh.
Okay.
We'll
a
see.
DC
We'll
woo
see.
or a DC ooh?
Yeah.
All right.
So the first project that they brought up was the Creature Commandos. This is going to be an animated series, a 7-episode animated series that was completely written by James Gunn. And it's the team of monsters basically hired by Waller. It's kind of like Suicide Squad if they were all like, it's like Frankenstein.
Well,
and
yeah, there was that DC movie, animated movie.
Yeah.
With
Sergeant
Sergeant Rock.
Rock,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was really great.
Right.
So it looks like there's going to be a full animated series,
Okay.
7-part series, and Gunn has already wanted. He wants whoever does the voices in the animation will be those characters if they ever do live action of those characters.
I think that's going to be hard though, because if you're not even testing their like acting ability
Right.
for the character in movement wise, just their voice on the anime, I don't know. I don't see the connection working too well in that.
Yeah.
In that.
It's a
But-
DC.
DC, yeah.
I mean, I'm interested.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
the
me too,
idea of the
yeah.
Creature Commandos. I mean, it's a very, and especially animated, you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. So
Yeah.
and you know, yet again, it's like James Gunn wrote it.
Yeah.
And I love Peacemaker. I thought it was
Oh,
really
yeah.
fun.
Peacemaker's,
So,
yeah, really great.
and I think he wrote all those episodes for that too. So,
Jokes ran a little too long sometimes in that show, but whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of patting themselves on the back because
Yeah.
they were very funny. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. Obviously, like I'm the big DC nerd here, so I think so. I'm like, yeah, give me more.
Oh.
Next up, this was a surprise to me, was the Waller spinoff show. So it is going to be Viola Davis, who
And that was
the-
expected for me. I assumed he would keep her along because his Suicide Squad probably still exists in this new DCU.
Right.
And yeah.
oh shit.
Oh, whoop.
Sorry.
Technical difficulties.
DC.
Yeah, so I
ooh.
know because of like Peacemaker, like he used her in that. So it looks like this is going to be an HBO series about her character, and it'd be fun. I mean, I think it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see where they go with it.
I mean, she's a great actress,
Yeah.
and like she really delivers on the character. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
whatever shit they're gonna get her into, I'm sure it'll be like.
I mean, it was interesting backstory. They put her in Peacemaker as her daughter
Yeah.
in there, and I'm interested. That's a
Yeah.
DC woo.
A DC woo.
A
All right,
woo, yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I'm
A
interested in it.
lighthearted woo, like
Yeah.
DC
Woo,
woo.
yeah.
The next project mentioned is the big one is Superman Legacy. This is the Superman movie that James Gunn wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And may direct. It doesn't know, it didn't put it specified, but it's Superman's big return, and from what we've heard and rumors that they are going to go young with
Yeah.
Superman. So I'm very interested to see who they cast. Number one, I mean,
Who do you guys
True.
think would be a good fit for that?
I really don't have a image in my head, but like me,
there's a few names floating around.
Like which ones?
I don't know.
I
off the top
think
of my head.
what's the blonde-haired brother in Supernatural? He was Soldier Boy in The Boys.
Oh, Jensen Ackles.
I think he could deliver maybe a interesting Superman.
Yeah, I mean, he's
guess.
40 though.
But yeah, I mean,
if
oh,
they're
yeah,
gonna go
that's true.
40, why
Yeah,
not just
that's
get Henry
true.
Cavill back?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think
No,
they are
that's
going to
true.
go with someone in their
Like
20s,
a younger,
to kind of like almost Smallville it, like just,
Yeah.
Right.
because they are looking at like they're looking for long stretches.
Well, do you
so.
think the young Superman is going to be in Metropolis then, or still in Smallville? Because like,
Ooh,
Interesting.
I would
maybe
be
you
curious.
start with him in Smallville, and then by the end of the movie, he's in Metropolis. I don't know.
Metropolis. Because
I
I,
think they-
always.
I think they would probably go like the first year of Superman because we've seen Metropolis done so many times. You
True.
know, from Smallville to, I mean, we've seen Smallville done so many times. We've seen from Smallville to Metropolis. We've seen
Right.
that done before.
Yeah.
So you think they'd probably do like Superman year one or something like that?
Yeah.
You know?
What-
like a Robert Patterson type of Superman.
Because in my head, off the title alone, Legacy, I'm thinking, oh, maybe this has something to do with his alien parents, and
Right.
he's got his Fortress of Solitude, and the ship is telling him information, and then maybe it gets him sent into space, maybe, and we get something new,
Right.
instead of like. We've had similar stuff in a lot of the Superman movies, so I wouldn't want to see Lex yet because he's too young to be going up against Superman, and maybe something from his home world or Lobo, or whatever the case. But
That would be great, actually. Yeah,
would be
just
great.
like how I think it was the Legion of something. They went back in time to
a Legion of Superheroes.
yeah.
from
So I mean, there
30th
could have been
century.
that storyline of helping him be Superman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah. That's a DC woo.
And
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
a-
like it has a release date of July 11th, 2025. So
Yeah.
we'll find out then.
yeah.
The next project up is the long-awaited Green Lantern show called Lanterns. This was announced when HBO Max was announced. This was going to be like one of their golden shows to watch when HBO Max was coming on. And it's Greg Berlanti produced, and I believe it was already like cast at one point.
Really?
But then obviously leadership changes, everything changes. This is going to be a terrestrial-based lantern show, so it's Earth-based. And James Gunn said it will be very much in the vein of True Detective, with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart kind of going like on a case-by-case, like almost like a procedural show.
Now, would two lanterns ever be on Earth at the same time?
Well, I mean, the comics there are like I believe 4 or 5 Earth lanterns.
Well, I most of them are like patrolling the.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like our sector in the universe is it's bustling and it's vast,
Yeah.
so that's why we technically have more lanterns. But
True.
I'd be interested to see if you do like a buddy cop thing, like maybe Hal Jordan's like the grizzled old cop. You know, like I would like to see like a Dennis Quaid or something like that.
I think that would be an interesting take on it.
And then
Yeah,
do
that would
like,
be really
like you
interesting.
can do Jon Stewart as the rookie,
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
or reverse it.
Well, if you're going with a young Superman, I think you'd want a young Lantern that will be joining the
Right,
Justice League
right.
eventually.
Right.
And I would prefer Jon Stewart to be that role
Yeah.
because, I grew up watching the
The cartoon.
the
Justice
cartoon,
League,
and like Jon Stewart for a lot of people, it's like that's their entry Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And I don't know with the Ryan Reynolds movie, I think Hal Jordan's still got a bad taste in people's mouths. I don't know.
I would say for Jon Stewart though, his I think who's playing Kang again? What's his name?
John Majors.
I don't know how old he is, but he would have been a good
He would
Jon
be
Stewart.
great. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Or you could also go the other route with Michael B. Jordan as him as well. But I think Jonathan Majors is a little better acting
I think
wise.
so too.
Yeah, I buy that. Yeah.
That's DC.
DC.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I want to wait and see what happens with
Yeah,
that.
because
but-
I'm not. I think it's an interesting take on it. I just don't know how they're gonna.
If anything, I see it being like an X-Files-esque. they're handling not supernatural but sci-fi.
That would be
Right.
great.
cases,
Yes,
which is
that'd be awesome
interesting.
too, yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, Green Lantern is always one of those characters because he can be so OP and just
Yeah.
like,
Right.
your ring basically can make anything you want. And, I feel like even in the cartoon, they downplayed that where he's just kind of using it to like cut the stuff open and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They never really got into it.
Well, if anything, I really want the other cores to show up in the show.
Oh,
like,
that'd be great.
especially Sinestro. I
awesome.
want to see a good Sinestro.
Ooh, yeah,
Even though
yeah,
I
there we
didn't
go.
hate Mark Strong.
I loved Mark
He was
Strong
great as Sinestro.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So the next one, now this is really interesting. This next announcement was for the Authority. Now, do you guys know the Authority?
No, I'm not very familiar with it.
It's I believe it's Grant Morrison wrote it.
Okay.
And it was check this out. It's like the Justice League, but they're a little bit more evil. So I
Oh.
mean, it's pretty much the boys.
Okay.
But it's a movie based on a team of superheroes, which with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet. Then that originated in the 90s, and it's interesting that they would go with the Authority before a Justice League movie, because the Authority was kind of just a play off that, I mean, like, and they had like a Superman kind of character called Apollo. They had a Batman kind of character called Midnighter.
Yeah.
And it's, so it's just interesting that this got greenlit before they're like, and we're going to, I feel like this should come down the line, way down the line.
Well, do you think maybe they're trying to connect the Authority with Waller, like make a Cadmus type of situation?
Maybe. That would be cool. Yeah.
Which would be kind of weird because the only threat you really have at the moment would be Superman, a young Superman. So or in the Green Lanterns, I guess, as well. So
yeah. So they're Justice League, but more extreme.
yeah.
All right.
So I give that a DC woo, but
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
I'll give it a DC.
Yeah.
Next up is Paradise Lost. Now, this has been described as a Game of Thrones style drama for HBO Max that's going to be set in the all-female island of Themyscira. So this is Wonder Woman style Game of Thrones show.
Now, the fact that they're calling it Game of Thrones kind of makes me want to say DCU.
Yeah.
But only, but if they do,
completely female cast.
well, no, I mean that's not the ill part. That's that's a DC. but no, I think if they did Paradise Lost, like there's gods on the island as well.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see Ares show up and like they're negotiating, trying to trick them.
I'm wondering if it is them trying to find if they start with them in Greece. I believe Wonder Woman Year One talks about the women's uprise.
Oh, and how they left.
Yeah, and how they left and found and the gods provided them the island.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the show. I mean, I have no idea what the show could be.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what year it is outside of the island,
Right.
like
Or
is anyone going to be crashing? Or,
Yeah, and will Diana even be on the island? Will
she be a little kid? Like,
Right,
still?
who knows?
Who knows? So,
So that's a DC. Who knows?
or like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and so this was an exciting one. The next one is The Brave and the Bold. This will be the introduction of the new Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I love the name already, Brave and
yeah,
Bold.
no,
Yes,
the
me too,
cartoon
yes.
was great. as
And
well, so.
James Gunn definitely pointed out that Robin will be in this, and it
Yeah.
will be Damian Wayne.
Now,
He says Damian Wayne is his favorite Batman,
Or
favorite Robin. And this is going to be inspired by the run of Batman written by Grant Morrison.
Now, I like Damien, but the thing is, we haven't had a great Dick Grayson Robin on screen yet.
So here's my theory.
Okay,
I'm going to throw this out there because they mentioned the Grant Morrison run.
Yeah.
And what makes that great is Damian is paired with Dick Grayson as Batman. So I'm theorizing that it's not Bruce Wayne as Batman. I
Really?
think we're going to get a Dick Grayson Batman.
But wouldn't it?
Because Bruce Wayne's been done to death at this point.
No, that's true.
And you've got Patterson as Bruce Wayne in another universe. So how do you distinguish yourself? And you want a younger Batman.
yeah.
You go with someone in their 20s and make him like in this world, maybe Batman's been doing it for a while again, you know?
True, but then also like all his villains would be older than every other villain in the universe. So I don't know if that would, because the way they were pitching it, I thought it was going to be a father-son type of story.
Yeah,
right.
true.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So which I don't mind either because it's
it's a
relationship
father-son story.
Yeah.
Is what it says here, so.
And you might get to see another iteration of Talia and Raish.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, that'd be great to see like the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I did like the animated movies. Kind of like the
nice.
Damian Deathstroke dynamic.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Deathstroke, both of them were kind of playing like, well, I'm going to be the head of the league.
Yeah.
You know, so I would love to see something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damien's an interesting choice. You know, I mean, like, it is sad we're not going to get that Dick Grayson.
Did Grant Morrison have the Court of Owls or no? He didn't.
No, that was Scott Snyder. That came
okay.
after in New 52 stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
And it'd be better than Jason Todd.
Yeah.
I mean, I never got to read Jason Todd. I only got to read the Red Hood when he came back.
Right, yeah. I have a few comics of him, and it was just kind of, he was just bratty.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
he didn't really get a lot of
what
time.
got him killed.
Yeah. You know, he didn't get a lot of time as Robin. They just kind of put him in the suit, and then he was like, well, I don't like this.
Yeah.
But at least that developed into a greater character down the line.
Yeah,
Yes, it did. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I want to say woo for that.
I'm gonna give it a big woo.
Yeah.
But that's just, I'm a big Batman nerd.
Yeah,
so
me too.
More Batman.
I'll
I'm
give it a
happy
woo.
More
with it.
Batman for me. I'm happy.
Yeah,
So,
well, I'm all Batman. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Following that, so that's also slated for 2025, which is the same year that we'll get the Batman sequel, Part 2, they're calling it.
Yeah.
So 2 Batman movies in 1 year. Cool.
Beautiful. I love it.
I'm gonna explode.
Me too.
With the
I'll give that a woo.
Also, so then we have another HBO Max series for Booster Gold.
Oh
yes.
So I'm because we're getting a Blue Beetle movie this coming year. So hopefully it connects with some Booster stuff. That'd be great.
James Gunn, if you are listening to this, you should cast our good friend Dan Mason. He would be a great
he would be
Booster
a great
Gold.
Booster Gold. Oh boy, yeah. I think he's another one of those characters that is like fun and cheesy, and you know, he's basically just a loser from the future who just has future tech that makes him really cool out here and now, you know.
And I really hope they like how they used him in the animated Justice League and Unlimited. I hope they use him kind of in the same capacity where he's learning to be a hero, and the other heroes treat him like a joke, but he's even the smaller things he does is important. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, James Gunn describes it as imposter syndrome as a superhero. So
yeah,
that's gonna be
it's a great description.
Fun.
No.
Another one I'm excited about because I did love the Tom King run is Supergirl: Woman of Tomorrow, is being played and made into a movie.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys read that at all.
No. I didn't.
It's really cool because it took the character of Supergirl, it took her off world, and she kind of was able to kind of do Earth without the shadow of Superman. And
so she hasn't been to Earth yet.
No, she was from Earth and then went out to space and kind of had like her own little space adventures.
I see.
It's a different take on the character because you forget like she wasn't brought up on Earth like Clark was.
Yeah. Right.
She was brought up on Krypton, so she has like Krypton sensibilities.
Yeah,
you know, like and she watched her planet explode. So she's kind of got a little bit of a tortured past, and it plays really well. The art style in that book is phenomenal. I would love to read it.
We should pitch it to the Green Bros.
Yeah, it's a great book. Unfortunately, I think it got canceled pretty quick.
What did you guys think of the WB show?
The Supergirl show?
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked.
I thought it was good.
And I mean, obviously, with those shows, they always push the envelope of how much they could do with that budget.
Yeah.
Which I think with Supergirl especially, they did stuff. They introduced the Legion of Superheroes. They brought in Red Tornado and Amazo, and and then got very political last few seasons with what it means to be they were dealing with it was aliens coming in to the world, but dealing with that kind of like, what does it mean to be from somewhere else? You know, so you know, an identity and yeah. I dug the show. I think they did a great job with it. And I liked Melissa Benoist as Supergirl.
Yeah,
she did a great job because it's hard to be strong and powerful yet still be warm, you know, and still have that femininity and that warmth to them. So you know, so I think they did a great job with it. Okay, so then after that, the last thing they announced was a Swamp Thing movie.
Yes, I know that's exciting.
And
because that show was so good, and we talk about it a lot.
And
what a crime it was for it to be canceled when it was.
Right, and he did mention it will be horror. Like this is going to be
awesome.
And also, it's going to be directed by Mangold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mangold's doing it. I just read that today, actually.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And he did Logan and all that. So I'm like...
the upcoming Indiana Jones.
Now, I know they probably wouldn't...
Stan squinching.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. We'll see.
I would love if they brought back the guy who played Swamp Thing in the suit.
The suit was,
because he did a great job.
That suit looked
awesome
amazing.
It did. It looked so good.
Yeah.
So that's what's gonna suck, because if it's not as good as that suit, then I'm just gonna be a kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I hope they do practical like that, and they don't just do. No, we have the money. Let's do a CGI Swamp Thing. Like,
and I loved Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant to be
Floronic Man.
Floronic Man too, because they were setting that up so well.
Yeah, and they were setting up the whole Justice League Dark kind of thing with Blue Devil and Phantom Stranger.
Oh yeah.
So it's a shame to see that one kind of bite the bullet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all the announcements.
Yeah.
Any of those that you guys like really looking forward
definitely
to?
The woo for the Swamp Thing. For sure.
Woo, big woo.
Big woo for the
Swamp Thing.
Thing.
Superman I'm looking forward to, because that'll set the tone for what we're going to get with the rest of what he's planning. And
now, how do you think he's going to do it? Because Gunn tends to, he wants to go serious with a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah,
in serious, a little more of a serious tone than say Marvel, right?
Well, he brought this up, which I thought was very interesting. At the end of all the announcements, he made a big point to say, now these movies are gonna have different tones and different. Like he's like, they will be all under the DC banner, but he's making it a priority to be about the storytellers and their vision. So it's not good. Like I feel like a big problem people have with Marvel is like all movies kind of look the same.
Exactly.
You know, they all have the same kind of tone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's by design. Like we know that, Kevin Feige is very much about, and that's why you lose creators like Edgar Wright left Ant-Man because he didn't want to kind of follow the line kind of thing. And you lose some creative people that way. But I don't think...
Well, they're all very formulaic movies.
Yeah, I think Marvel's slowly kind of letting go of the reins a bit, because we're seeing stuff like with Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange. Like, that was a Sam Raimi movie.
I think they should have pulled on the reins for Taika.
Say what you will, Taika did his own thing, with him, like... Ragnarok was a hit in my book, so
for sure.
So I feel like it's you're playing with Mercury with that one. But yeah, I think with DC, I feel like the way they're gonna really stand out from the Marvel movies is like we're gonna have like the surreal craziness of your Joker movie, but we're gonna have a Superman movie that's gonna be a completely different tone, or like stuff like Creature Commandos and Booster Gold gets me excited, because I feel like those are very in the James Gunn wheelhouse of much like Peacemaker or Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like these offshoot, D-list characters that you can kind of do anything with.
Well, and I also think that variety of different styles for all the movies, that's for like everyone can find their own movie. If you're not into one type of storytelling or the way it looks or whatever like that, they could just it's like I like Superman Legacy because it's got the vision I like of whatever.
And he also promoted the movies such like Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash. He said The Flash is like one of the best movies he's seen so far, but it doesn't look like there's he didn't announce any sequels to those. I don't think Zach Levi's going to do another Shazam movie. I doubt it, And if anyone, we're definitely not going to see another Black Adam movie, unfortunately.
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah, I'm just glad that there's somebody finally at the helm charting everything out.
Yeah.
Which is something that drives me crazy because I don't understand. I get what DC was trying to do when they were trying to capture Marvel, because Marvel had already had way had a head start of them.
Yeah.
So they were just trying to rush everything in. They did it with BVS. They did it with a bunch of other movies that they were just trying. Let's get this out here because we got to compete. Marvel's kicking our ass. We got to compete. So there was no direction. There was no.
Well, I think they really leaned heavy onto Snyder, going like, "We want you to be the Kevin Feige of the." And I don't think Snyder really wanted that role.
Right.
He wanted
exactly.
to make a movie.
He just So but it kills me when studios such as that. I know this has been beat to death, but Star Wars is a good example of this, right? With Kathleen Kennedy at the helm at Lucasfilm, it's just like, how do you not sit down with all the resources and all the money that you have, pretty much unlimited resources?
Right.
Do you not sit down with everybody in a room and say, give me from the first second of the movie to the last second of the third movie, give me a plan. That's what I need, a plan, and I need screen, and then we'll go over everything like Kevin Feige has done with Marvel. And that should drive me, because you could go with writers and directors and say, I'll give you $1 to be in this movie or direct this movie. And people be like, yeah, I'm in. It's Star Wars. I'm in. I'll be part of this for the rest of the entire time humanity's on Earth. I'll be a part of it. And they don't do that. That shit drives me crazy when you have that many resources and that much money and that many talented people, and it's pretty much squandered.
Right.
I mean, it happened with DC. They kind of lost their way, and then same thing with the last Star Wars movies we had. It's just kind of,
it's weird to me, right? Exactly.
It drives me nuts.
You're dealing with, I mean, these movies cost $200 million a piece.
Yeah.
Right.
And how quickly on a dime they can switch flip a script, like the last Star Wars movie. From what I heard, there was a whole, when someone else was going to direct, it was a whole different script.
Yeah.
And how they just trashed it. And it's like, well, did that, because you're laying track for these 3 movies, and then you're suddenly going to switch tracks. Like, it's just weird to me.
Yeah.
And then, the same with when Universal was trying to do this with the Dark Universe.
That's a great example,
stuff, where they were like, we got all these actors. We're going to have, Javier Bardem is going to be Frankenstein, I think. And, they had all these stuff. But if you don't knock it out of the park with the first movie, which was, they're like, Tom Cruise the Mummy. And it's like, if you don't knock it out of the park on the first one, you can't invest in, you're investing in this big universe, but you're not investing in that movie.
Right.
For the Dark Universe, I would have started it with the Jekyll movie with Russell Crowe, because I found in The Mummy he was the best character, and I was like, I want to follow this
you
guy.
can tell Russell Crowe was having a good time doing it.
So no, I agree with
a little missed opportunity,
the squandering, and
Yeah, it's sad, and it's really sad that we have these amazing franchises that are a huge part of God knows how many people's lives, certainly ours, Star Wars, DC, and it's just not done correctly from the get-go. Yeah. I don't get it, and these are highly paid professionals, very well educated, masters in their field supposedly, and it's just like, how do you fuck this up?
But they also bring in they bring in people to work on it that aren't fans of the product.
That's what I mean. That's part of it. That's part of it. I mean, now they're doing it. Luckily, John Favreau's is partially part with what's his name?
Dave Filoni.
With Dave Filoni. So they at least they have real fans that are now guiding part of it.
Right.
But,
Filoni is like the biggest. Like, he loves the prequels more than, and he will
he defends
anyone.
He defends them. Big time. And it's just like, so. I'm glad that this is being announced, but I don't know. Is it going to happen? Because Warner's in trouble. And then we've also had, again, going back to Lucasfilm, we had how many things did they announce, 2 years ago? I know the pandemic kind of sidelines them, but they had the Acolyte. They had the Acolyte. They had the Rogue Squadron movie.
Oh, yeah. That's right. They did the whole
Patty
intro.
Jenkins was supposed to direct, and then who knows what happened there.
It was going to be the biggest.
It was going to be Top Gun for Star Wars, which is a great way to put it.
And then Top Gun comes out.
And then Patty Jenkins walks away, and then they had with Cara Dune, but we know what happened there with what's her name?
Giano.
So we know what happened there.
Well, you remember they also when they were announcing the sequel movies, when Lucas finally went to Disney,
Mm-hmm.
they did announce a Boba Fett movie with Josh Trank directing.
Yeah.
And then that
That
soon
got
as
scratched.
Fan-
Well, because
Fan came out,
Solo flamed
yeah.
out, and so then they were
Yeah.
going to do a whole bunch of movies.
Yeah, with
And like you said, they have to knock it out of the
One-off
park
characters.
with the first one, and then
Yeah.
Solo came out, which I didn't think was a terrible movie, but it certainly wasn't what we were expecting.
right.
And
Yeah.
then after that, they canceled the Boba Fett movie, and so it's just a series of missteps that
Yeah.
I just don't see how this happens.
Well, and that's
you
the
know, like, I don't
curious
get
thing
it.
because why would
That's why
they-
I'm not excited about the Indiana Jones movie. I'm just not. I think it's going to be disastrous. I hope it's not.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's glad to hear that there's a plan going on,
Yeah.
but then like, why would you announce all these properties and it's banking on that first one to be a banger?
Right.
Because it might go the way of Disney where all those things get canceled. So I only see like, hey guys, we should just concentrate on this first one and then
But you know what?
kind of like,
I do love the slate that he put out because it isn't your run-of-the-mill like, hey, because I remember they did this with Snyderverse like 10 years ago. They were like, we're going to do, it would be Batman movie, Wonder Woman movie, Cyborg movie. It was all the run-of-the-mill, and you're like, yeah, of course you're going to do those. This one, he's like a Booster Gold, a Waller series, a Creature Commander. Like, this is stuff that was so out of from left field, and I kind of love that. Like, who would have thought we'd see another Swamp Thing?
and
property?
that's true. Yeah.
I also, it's probably they're getting a little more confidence because Marvel's putting out things that we never thought we'd see, like a She-Hulk movie, WandaVision, and things like that. So it seems like they're
Thunderbolts would be one coming out.
Yeah, so it seems like they're getting more confidence because of that.
With him also saying like, even though these characters are so far apart from each other, that they're going to be connected in the main storyline. So whatever they didn't mention, that's probably going to be in between those movies
slot
and
some
shows.
things in,
It'll be very interesting to see
But,
like
you
what
know,
fills the gap. And
they only got the job. What was it? Was it right before Black Adam came out? Is when they were announced as the heads of the studio.
no, it was after.
After
I
Black
want to say it
Adam.
was after.
Yeah, like a couple weeks after.
We're
it was
not
out.
going to see, the fruits of that for a couple of years, because they haven't filmed, a single frame of any of these things.
No,
yet.
of
Past a
course.
lot of it.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Like I always go like, I'll come up with a judgment when I see a trailer,
Yeah.
because until then, I mean, even like Batgirl was supposed to come out, we never saw a trailer for that.
No.
Yep.
Man, just like, why not release that? But whatever. And it had Brendan Fraser as Firefly. It would have been so good.
Yeah.
I know. And Keaton was in it.
And Keaton, I know. I was like you could have put that just on streaming, and it would have made its money. I don't know why.
Because they were saying that by not releasing it, they're saving more.
I don't
which
see
is
how that's
strange.
possible.
I don't get it either. But
Hollywood
I don't know.
accounting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Chad, you're our Hollywood accountant. What's
Chad,
what's all
give
that about?
give us a rundown.
Oh, I know
Give
nothing.
us a 1 hour explanation on accounting, please.
It's all up to the big boss. The big boss.
See, that's the Hollywood accounting right
Right
there.
there.
I don't know. It's above my pay grade, bro.
No one. Yeah,
I'll just keep burning these checks.
Just kick it up.
I'm just. I sit next to the shredder.
That's what I figured.
That's what it is.
Shredder and a furnace. And you're just like,
What's that? Hey, this is a movie. Why am I throwing that in there?
this film. Oh man.
Wow.
But no, I mean, so I'm excited, but also I'm not going to get my hopes up because I've been crushed before. And also to address on they're getting the same actors to be the characters in the video games and
Yeah, it's
the movie.
all gonna tie together.
But you know how much money
That's a lot.
you're going to pay these actors now?
Yep.
It's like you're.
Well, that's why I feel like we're gonna get more obscure actors. I don't think they're gonna go for the big names.
So they don't have to pay as much?
Yeah, I think they're gonna go for young. Like kind of what Hemsworth was. Hemsworth wasn't a household name before he was Thor.
Sure.
Yeah.
And now he's outlasted every one of those actors have signed the original contracts.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do Thor for
They could
7
get
movies.
young-
I mean, they took a risk with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
It's
who
true.
at the time his career wasn't great.
No, it's true.
But all I want is a Denzel Dark Side.
Yes.
That'd be so good. That'd be so
to
good.
his young Superman or something like that.
Oh, that'd be good.
Be like, I could just see a Training Day type of. It's like, I didn't know you. I didn't know you smokes PCP, kryptonite.
I'm gonna get fired.
Oh.
But yeah, no, there's so many storylines they could do. So I'm excited, but I'm also just the convoluted. Like, I don't like jumping media to media a lot, and I like things to be separate sometimes. So it's if this is not the Batman I like, then I have another version. So at least I have Robert Pattinson's, or I have another animated movie. So I hope it just doesn't over. Yeah, I hope they don't take over the animation department where it's only the canon stuff. I hope it's also you get the other stories.
Yeah, I don't mind the same actor playing the role.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's not like, I have to play this video to understand what's going on in this movie.
Yeah,
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah,
because that kind of, I think that's kind of gotten a lot of people out of Marvel. Is like, I didn't watch WandaVision, so I don't understand what's happening in Strange 2, or anything like that. It just seems like sometimes there's so much interconnectivity. If you miss one thing, then you have no idea what's going on.
Going back to the new Star Wars trilogy. Oh, it's in the comic books. Oh, you missed this part. It's in the comic books.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'm not.
Even with the Mandalorian. Like, if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, this new season of Mandalorian is not going to make any sense.
Right.
Because the last thing you saw him is he gave Grogu away.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the trailer's already showing them together. You're like, well, wait, what? How? What?
Right.
Exactly.
And someone's going to be like, well, you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett? And like,
yeah. That is, so
you're kind of isolating people.
That is, that's the main problem there, I think. And hopefully they go about it, intelligently, and they don't make it so like, I gotta watch everything, because everyone's gonna get fatigued. Everyone's already sort of fatigued from Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, like I'm not. I don't really care about the new.
Like, I've missed a bunch of Marvel shows because I'm like, I just don't.
I don't care about the new Ant-Man movie come out. I'm like, I'll go see it. I guess I'm not excited for it. Like,
it is gonna set up Kang.
Yeah,
as the next big.
And
battle
I should be excited for that.
movies.
I'm just like,
yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm excited for Kang and everything, but it's like, I don't need to be there the first opening day. I don't need to be.
That's exactly what I feel. Yeah.
It's like, I'll eventually go get it, see it, or So, I don't know if eventually all the superhero stuff will die down.
It's definitely getting to there. I mean, I think it's definitely getting there. The fatigue.
It still makes money even if they're flops, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, but going back to Thor: Love and Thunder, that did not.
No, that's
it made
true.
its money back,
that
but it
true.
wasn't. It was.
Yeah.
Didn't. It was. I think it was one of the first movies to not reach over $1 billion. Well, that and Eternals, I believe.
Yeah.
Didn't go over $1 billion, which is to them it was just that's a number they routinely hit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that, and then that's when they brought back what's his name as CEO of Disney.
Iger came back.
Yeah. So I guess because things weren't making as much money as they were, or something like that. So, I guess, but we'll see. That'll be.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not holding my breath, and I've got my heart broken a lot in the last.
It's crazy to
years.
me to think that the Avengers came out over 10 years ago.
Yeah, that is crazy.
2012. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Holy shit.
So it's like this train's been chugging along for a while.
Yeah. Iron Man was what, 2008?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh.
And I swear to God, if I don't get my Hulk movie, I'm gonna.
You're not gonna get a Hulk movie. You're not.
I know I'm not gonna get it. I was like, hit him on the head, make him dumb again, make him be angry.
You want dumb Hulk?
I want dumb Hulk.
Well, maybe She-Hulk will just beat his ass again and beat him at everything. So
Yeah. Well, if anything, I know.
What's funny is like Universal will never give those rights up. They're like, we're gonna hold on to these Hulk and Namor rights. Like, so those characters can be in other character movies.
Yeah.
Like you can get Namor in your Black Panther movie, but you'll never get a Namor movie. And same with the Hulk. Like Hulk can play second fiddle in Thor or something like that, but you're not going to see a Hulk movie. It just won't happen until Universal like, okay, here you go. Because they're not. Because it's like this weird catch-22 where it's like Marvel has to approve them to make the movie.
Yeah.
But Marvel won't, and then they can use the characters, but they can't do the movie. It's just weird.
It's just so strange.
Everything works. How about as like a last thing here, we go around and say a character of DC that we hope James Gunn would make something from.
I got one.
You hope something.
I got one as well. So
no, go ahead.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah,
you go first.
All right. I want another try at Jonah Hex, because I think
good choice.
Oh, very good choice.
It's cheap to do. You could just film it like a Western, but have some like steampunk stuff in there too. but I think it just needs another go, and they need to just follow the comics because that gives you the what you need right there. But for some reason, they just shit the bed on the. I love Josh Brolin, but I was like, that was atrocious, that movie.
Yeah, that was.
And
well done.
I think that's why the Wachowski brothers walked away. I mean, sisters walked away from that movie because the way they kept changing everything. And yeah, it has to be rated R because there's no other way to really do that because he's a very ruthless bounty hunter. But I mean, the short that DC Animated made, I forget what on Doomsday DVD or something like someone, but it was so good. And Thomas Jane, I thought Thomas Jane would have been perfect because he didn't get to be Punisher again.
Yeah.
And I was like, he would have been a great Jonah Hex, but that didn't go through. So
in my head, I'm seeing Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant would be another great one.
Or just get 90-year-old
Clint
Eastwood to do one last Western.
I would pay I would delete my AMC A list, pay full price of a ticket to go see that.
One last ride, Clint.
One last ride.
Yeah. But yeah, if James Gunn, if you could make another Jonah Hex, maybe like in a time traveling story, I don't care. However you have to do it.
You're right.
But yeah. So
I would love to see like a real noirish take on the question.
Yes.
Yes.
Like a real
that's good.
detective story, gritty.
Yes.
Something about that character, just a faceless look is kind of terrifying.
I fell in love with that character for the Justice League.
Yeah,
cartoon.
making him kind of the question.
I think Jeffrey Combs voiced him.
Yes, and
The
doing that kind of
Reanimator.
conspiracy nut.
Yeah.
It's such a great play on him. But a little Rorschach-y, but
yeah. But they can to keep it from being that, they could team him up with the Huntress like they did in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
It's such an interesting guy, and I would love to see something done with him.
Yeah.
I really want to see. Can we get a solid Lex Luthor, please?
Ooh. Oh yeah.
I mean, the last ones we had was Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Come on, I think if he.
I get what they were trying to do, like do the kind of social media, like it
was like a tech savvy kind of. But I think maybe if he had played more of like Mark Zuckerberg in the social network,
he'd have been a little,
that would have been more of a Lex Luthor-ish kind of, And then before that, we had Kevin Spacey, who was I think would have been a really solid Lex Luthor because he can play a very like intense character, like.
I remember
a good Lex Luthor
at the time.
A good
Lex was great casting.
Yeah. At a good Lex Luthor is who he played the president on House of Cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good Lex Luthor right there.
Yeah.
That's his president. Whatever his president's the character's name was, but the president that he played on House of Cards is the Lex Luthor that we should have gotten.
Yeah.
That's
very true.
Who's calculating, cunning, cold. I none of the
Billy
Lex
Zane
Luthors
is still waiting by the phone. Come on, guys.
Exactly.
Who is it?
Billy Zane? He's ready to be.
He's
been wanting to play Lex Luthor forever.
Exactly. So that is probably like. I mean, I think the last Lex Luthor. I don't feel that we've had anyone who's played him seriously and been a real threat. Not even Gene Hackman. I mean, Gene Hackman was, but it was goofy.
He was playing like the original Lex Luthor,
right? Exactly.
In the action comics.
Right.
Yeah.
But what if they did Mark Strong as a Lex Luthor?
Interesting. Mark Strong.
I like that idea. I feel like the thing with Lex Luthor is he doesn't think he's the villain, right?
That's true.
He's in his head,
interesting,
like a hero for humanity.
Yeah.
And so I think you hire someone who is good at playing the good guy,
True.
And they could turn on the sinister nature.
I think Bryan Cranston would be awesome.
I mean, Cranston's been on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the Lex Luthor I'm accustomed to is from the 90s Superman cartoon with Clancy Brown voicing him, and he voiced him into the Justice League
and
series.
that was the last. I was going to say that was the only Lex Luthor that I feel was an actual like nemesis,
right?
A worthy adversary to Superman. That's it. That's the animated one that we had in that cartoon. That's I don't see any of the live action.
So like if they played it as a businessman, philanthropist, but secret, almost like how they did the Kingpin in the Daredevil show.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know who they could. I mean, like Bryan Cranston would be great, but since they're going with a younger Superman, the juxtaposition of their ages would be just too far off. So I would think you'd have to go a little younger.
Yeah.
And I just no one pops in my head, but I'm sure there's someone out there that can fill that role. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. I'd also like to see a good Martian Manhunter.
That would be great.
Manhunter, yeah.
I know. I feel like he's been teased in everything.
Everything.
They keep teasing Martian
Yeah.
Manhunter.
Would you guys love to see the version where he's like a cop?
Yes,
And-
that's
and-
yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
When you said that True Detective thing,
Yeah.
that's what popped in my mind with Martian
If he
Manhunter,
shows up
yeah.
in that show, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's
Ooh,
smart.
really good.
That's
Yeah,
smart
really
if they
good,
show
yes.
he shows up in the show as a
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he just tries to solve different crimes
Yeah.
all around. If he plays like I don't know, like an FBI agent, like X-Files, like you
yeah.
said.
He gets like pulled into investigation by the two lanterns,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm from Mars and I've been down here for however many years.
Yeah, he's also a mind reader, so I think
Well,
he'll
yeah, that's
solve
true.
cases pretty quick.
Yeah, no,
It'd be a quick show.
That's true.
So maybe he's in trouble and they come
He did
across
it.
him then. Like maybe the government is holding him hostage and doing
yeah.
tests on him, and the lanterns find him and free him and
That'd be cool. Yeah.
something like
And
that
he loses his ability to read minds for a minute.
for a little bit, and then he's like, oh, it's like let me.
Yeah, I'm interested with the Lantern show because they did say. I mean, he said it was going to be Earthbound. It's going to be terrestrial, but how much of the cosmic elements are they going to pull into it?
True.
Because it's
I would.
it can't be just two guys, cruising around in a car with magic rings. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I would love to if they pulled that. Do you remember that episode of Justice League where they thought they were transported to another past or something, and it was this guy, this
with like the Golden Age kind of feel
the
to
Justice
world.
Society,
Yeah,
and the Justice Society was all dead, or most of them were dead because,
Right.
but
this guy created
created a world through his telepathic abilities that he got from the nuclear blasts, and I think that would be an interesting thing to throw in the show, like just as a random. I don't know if that villain has a name or not, but
I don't remember.
By the way, good Martian Manhunter, Jonathan Majors. We were just mentioning
yeah.
that would
you know?
be that'd be
Look,
great
we're just
too.
gonna cast Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan
as
Majors-
You put him in
everyone.
everything.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
put him in. He's good in everything.
He's Jonah Hex.
He's Batman. He's
Batman.
Batman, yeah.
yeah. But all right, I mean, anyone got anything else to add?
I think that's it. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be the episode.
So that's been our James Gunn special. I hope you've all enjoyed and enjoyed our theories and our thoughts on all the DC properties about to come out, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.